So good evening, guys. Welcome to Appalachia's Homestead. Welcome back to the channel. Happy Easter weekend. Easter is tomorrow. I bet you have a lot of plans. You've been hanging out with the kiddos and getting ready for church tomorrow. Or you having ham? I'm making a chicken casserole. That's what we're going to be having here at the home. And lots of goodies and a strawberry cake. Everybody's anxious for that. Really looking forward to tomorrow. Want to thank you for being here. Give me a hug. I know I didn't make a video yesterday or into today. Let me tell you what's going on. Everything is going on. So give me a hug. I've missed you. We have a whole new deal coming up, guys. I have to talk to you about this because this is really important. And not only because it's Easter weekend. It was Good Friday was yesterday. I hope you got to spend some time with family. Uh-oh. They're on to me. You hear them? I know, right? We have a lot of catching up to do, so I'm just going to jump into making videos again. You know, it's been a little off the last week or so because, as you know, we had a death in the family, and, you know, that always throws things off, and then you have life happen and different things like that. But here's the deal. I have a legitimate question. Where did spring go? Today is April the 19th. I'm going to try to get this video up tonight. If not, it'll be tomorrow, which is Easter Sunday the 20th. Another thing we had going on is my youngest baby is turning 20. Where did the time go? Where did everything go? Everything is just moving so fast, right? So there's a lot of that going on too. So just very blessed, and I thank you for being here. But listen, I have been noticing some things over the past couple of days, and I wanted to ask you if you're seeing some of this. I think you might be. And then I want to relate it to a decision that I stressed about, that I think maybe you might stress about. And it really is about listening to what we feel God's telling us what he wants us to do. And nobody is in the same circumstances all the time, right? You know, you have a different calling at different times, and I have a different calling at different times. And I have talked about this in recent weeks. But let me just say this first and foremost. We've been out and about, obviously, the last 7 to 10 days with different things. And last week, it's been well over a week ago, we were driving down towards where my parents live, and we stopped at a red light, and I looked over and I said, am I crazy? Don't answer that. But am I seeing honeysuckle in bloom? Now, a week ago was like the 13th, 14th of, you know, we were barely into mid-April, okay? Usually in mid-April is when we start seeing the dogwoods bloom. The dogwoods have been blooming. In fact, ours here on the property are already on their way out. We did have the red buds hit their blooming peak around the 1st or so. Actually, they started earlier than that. But they kind of hit peak right at the 1st of April, because see, we have redbud winter. Then we move into a week or two later or so, we have dogwood, and then we have dogwood winter. We haven't had a dogwood winter. In fact, yesterday was 85 degrees. Today was 83 degrees. We're going to be averaging around 79 or 80 degrees pretty much until the 1st of May by what I'm seeing. We have some rain moving in next week, but we have pretty much had a very easy redbud winter, and usually we freeze. We probably, in a general term, we pretty much freeze at least one night during redbud winter. A lot of times during dogwood winter, which should be about right now, we might freeze, and then we push into May, which is when we will start seeing the blackberries beginning to bloom, and we hit blackberry winter. We may not freeze, but we get cold. In fact, I've got a video from 2017, 18, and we are literally in blackberry winter, and I've got a cow throwing a calf out in the field. She's having a baby, and I'm out there in a coat and a beanie. It was so cold, okay, in like this second week of May, before Mother's Day. That's typically your blackberry winter. What I'm trying to communicate to you people, and I want to hear what you're saying, we're not having the little winters. Now, as soon as I say this, something will happen, and that's fine. But I'm saying here we are towards the end of the 19th of April. We've barely had one little winter. The red buds are gone. The dogwoods are on their way out. And my blackberries, my wild blackberries here on my property, I'm going to put a little shot of that at the beginning of the video. They are blooming in April. Where did spring go? Is it unusual for us to have a day or so that, might be 80 degrees or something like that? Well, of course not. That's not unusual overall per se. But for me to say we're going to go through 10 days in April and we're going to be 80, 79, 80, 81 degrees, no, that's not usually the case. So here's where I'm going with this. We have been double dog downing on the cleaning. We've chopped trees. We are moving mulch. I've pulled down all of my fencing from my garden area. We are doing massive overhaul. It started yesterday on our farm, cleaning things, throwing things away, revamping things. I'm looking at what made it through winter, in terms of my orchard. All of my blackberries have pretty much made it. All of these things, I will tell you, one thing that didn't make it, my raspberries. I'm pretty much to the point where I'm just pretty much going to grow blackberries and let my black cap raspberries, look here, black cap raspberries, right here, in bloom, coming on. Yes. And they usually come on before blackberries, but look, blooming right there, already blooming. Black cap raspberries, my blackberries, and elderberry, doing great. And so my peach tree's doing good. We've got peaches already. I have little peaches already. Peaches on the tree. So here's what I'm saying. God told me, I feel for me, now I'm not telling you to do anything or not to do anything. You need to do what works best for you, your family, and your farm. But I felt it was necessary to take a complete break this year from all of my gardens. I might put out some basil. I'm definitely going to do flowers, pollinator-friendly flowers, whatnot for the bees, etc., etc. But my massive haul of corn, all of my tomatoes, all of that, no, I'm not. Made a video about it. A lot of you are still going to garden this year, and if that's what you feel you need to do, I encourage you to do it. I have said in the past that I felt, in the recent past, that I felt God was telling me to hold off. I need to let everything rest, and I need to focus on other things and to make sure that I have resources to get the things that I need or want in order to can or put back on the shelf. So, I'm not saying to not prepare. I'm just saying I felt this was my year, okay, of rest. I have never done that. In the last 15 years that we've been homesteading or gardening and whatnot, I've never taken a break. So here's what I'm saying. I kind of beat myself up about it there for a while. I mean, I'm obeying because some of you were like, if you feel God told you, you better hold off. You better hold off. My own husband said, oh no, if I know how you feel about this and I agree with you. And what's going to happen if you go against what you feel you're being told to do? See, everybody's in a different season, right? Everybody has a different calling. So you got to do what works best for you. I'm not telling you not to be self-sufficient in the garden if you feel you're set up for it and you want to do it. Honey, go, go, go. I've not taken a break in 15 years, and I felt a calling this year due to all the things that we need to do and my concern for the weather. So here's where I'm going with this. Pray about what you're doing because I know you're moving into gardening season right now. Pray about it. If you have reservations about it or you don't feel you're going to have time for it, maybe you don't need to do it, but you do need to locate other resources. I have folks around us that are going to be gardening, have hoop houses. We have our Mennonite farms that we love so much. So I have those things. Plus, my pantry's looking okay right now. So I have things to work through. And I doubted myself. And I'm just saying right now for the record, I came to peace with that yesterday. Because we've really been outside working in this heat. 85 degrees is not cool. Not when you're standing in the sun taking down fencing, right? So I've really felt at peace with knowing that I'm going to obey. Because, you sit there and you go, I really hope, I'm going to miss my Cherokee Purple in July, And I went, calm down. You have resources for that. If you're meant to have a Cherokee Purple tomato this summer, God's going to make sure you have somewhere to go to find you one. Be consistent and obey. There's a lot to do. God is not going to lead us astray from the things that we need to do in order to be self-sufficient if that is truly what we seek and we're saying, Lord, tell me what I need to do. And I'm just saying, I have legitimate concerns for how hot it's going to be this summer. Maybe I'm wrong. I hope I am wrong. Believe me, I don't want to be outside working in 97-degree weather. And you folks that live in hotter regions than we live, bless your heart, be careful, okay? But I do want to say this. I would highly consider getting a lot of shade cloth. I have videos from the last 2 seasons or so where I bought shade cloth and I used them specifically over my tomatoes. It looked a little redneck, but hey, who you talking to? Hey, it worked. So before you get really, really, really busy outside, you might want to consider getting some shade cloth and make sure that you have a way to put that over whatever you're growing. I'm not doing a garden this year, but I bought more shade cloth for next year. I'm working on my greenhouse. I'm working on putting out manure. I'm working on the woodshed. We're working on lots of different things that are going to take a lot of time. But in that, I didn't dismiss my gardening areas. I'm not dismissing the future of my gardening. I'm still looking to accumulate things, especially when they're on sale, or if I've got a little extra special like a gift card or something. I'm putting it towards that. So I bought more shade cloth. I have no intentions of using it this year, but it will be available to me for next year. So I want to drop that tidbit off for you because here we are. Like I said, we're in the 3rd week of April, and a lot of you have already started or putting your tomatoes out and doing all the things that you're doing. If you don't have some good shade cloth, it's all over Amazon. It's not super expensive. I would definitely look at that. And I would invest. Now, if you've got a hoop house or a greenhouse like I do, etc., that's going to be a little bit different, obviously. Depends upon how big it is and how big of a crop you want, how big of a harvest you need. That's going to be an individual decision as far as how much, but don't dismiss it. But what are you seeing in terms of the weather? Look how green we are. That's not abnormal, but to tell you that we are already past the peak of basically dogwood. I mean, there's still dogwoods out. Don't get me wrong, but there is no dogwood winter in sight. Not much of one. So what is that going to look like when we get into May or by the end of May? Last year, by the end of May, we were so hot. In June, as I told you before, last year, this time, or last June, that's the hardest June I have ever gardened in, ever. I mean, I had to ask myself, do I live in southern Louisiana or do I live in up here in East Tennessee? Even though we get hot and we get humid and we've got mosquitoes and we complain about all that, we get used to it, but you can function with it. Historically, we didn't get blazing hot until July and into August. It's not that way, it appears, anymore. So pay attention to the signs. Look at what is blooming. What is happening? Where are the bees? What are they doing? If you do nothing else this season, please try to do something very pollinator friendly, because a lot of people are discussing and pointing out and talking about more decline of the bees. And if you're into gardening at all, you don't even have to garden. If you just like to eat a tomato or a cucumber every now and then, just want to let you know the bees are kind of important. That's right. So what's God telling you? You don't have to tell me. Ask yourself, what do you need to be doing to shift into these times of seasons? Are there things that you need to be doing in terms of your preparedness? I know what I need to be doing, and it is a complete overhaul here. And because of that, because of time, because you don't want to run yourself down, you have to make different decisions and different arrangements at certain times in your life, different years. So be thinking about that, and don't be afraid to do it. I was afraid. I did. I jumped with fear. I said, I'm not doing it. I feel like I'm being told this. We talked about it. So many of you have been so great and so supportive, saying, if you feel that's what you need to do, that's what you better obey it. And I have to say, thank you, because you were right. I've gotten my answers. It took me a couple of weeks to come to peace with it, even though I trusted it. but I know we're making the right decision here for this season. And so what I'm doing is I'm getting everything lined up and cleaned and rearranged and fenced or prepared to carry me through the future. And at the same time, I'm also looking at other ways to fill my pantry. There's no shame in the game if you have to go to Kroger and buy your 5 cans this week. Who says you can't? Do both. Even if you're gardening, do both. That's the advice we always give here. But there's a reason for everything. God is not going to lead his people astray. And on this Easter weekend, I want to remind you of that. This has been something that I've been thinking about for the past couple of days, and I couldn't wait to tell you about it. Because I know we have these moments of intimidation, and we have these moments where something kind of creeps up on your shoulder and says, are you sure you're making the right decision? Are you sure your God wants you to do that? Are you sure you understood? Yeah, I understood. Message was clear, and we're going to obey it. But we are still doing all the other things. Like, subscribe, and share. Pray, prep, and be peaceful. Lots of videos coming your way. So much to catch up on with you with the farm. A lot of decisions. We're moving things around. Blah, blah, blah. Babies from the incubator are doing good. I put more chickie babies in the incubator, more eggs this morning. We've got broodies. It's just wonderful. So next week, let's see, today's Saturday. We should go into lockdown period by Monday-ish for all of my turkey eggs, whether they're in the incubator or underneath my hen, which I've got another broody hen trying to move in on her eggs. A lot of drama up in this llama, honey. So tomorrow, which is Easter, we will still have to do a little bit of work. Tomorrow afternoon, we're at least going to move the broody hen. The goal, at least I say this right now, we got to get her moved to her trough tomorrow because she should be going into lockdown-ish by Monday. So we want to have her set. Pray that goes well, all right? We'll see how that goes. So like, subscribe, and share. Pray, prep, and be peaceful. Hope you have a wonderful Easter Sunday tomorrow. Videos are coming your way. Give me a hug. I missed you. Thank you for being so good to me and my family. We love you. Give me more kisses. We're going on a hot date. Yeah, James and I are going to go all we do is go get a hamburger. See, I've got my favorite t-shirt on. You know it's all dressed up. She curled her hair and she put on her favorite t-shirt. Hot date night, right? I know. Hey, it is what it is. I love you guys. Be safe, and I will see you on the next video.